welcome back to the second episode of the Not Fully Qualified podcast. Woo! We're Sara and Taylor.
And this is where we talk about our life.
Yeah, and basically everything in between, and fully own that we, most of the time, do not have any idea what we're doing.
And today we got a special guest, Mr. Jet.
Mr. Jet,
He might be here the whole podcast, or he might leave, but right now he's pretty posted in his box.
Yep, in his box.
And I don't know if you can see behind me, I have young waffles.
Yeah, I think you can see her feet.
You can see her feet. She's
passed out too.
She's had a busy morning.
Jinx is somewhere yelling out the window. I heard him a little while ago. So let's just do a quick little weekly catch up.
Where do you want to start?
So this week, did we have any wins or fails to report back on?
Win would be Waffles throwing up the last pair of underwear that she ate.
Oh my gosh, it's been such a nightmare. So last week Wednesday, I noticed that we had a door stop, one of those floor door stops, and the door was open. So she figured out, I think a little while ago, she figured out how to break into that because she's sometimes gotten into the cat litter. And there was laundry pulled out of our hamper everywhere, but it was a little hard to tell. The thing about her is that whenever she eats an object, she doesn't usually leave any trace of it. So she's eaten like a full birthday card before, including the envelope, and didn't shred it or anything. It was just gone. Like one time I told Taylor, make sure you sign that birthday card on the table. And he's like, what card? I'm like, I put it on the coffee table. And yeah, it was just gone. She has eaten 2 whole sticks of butter before that I pulled out to get to room temperature when I was going to make cookies for my cousins. And it was just gone. And I was like, I thought I pulled it out. Where did it go? Oh my gosh, you ate that. And that is not good for you because there's so much fat. She ended up throwing that up. And when she threw it up, the wrappers were whole, like intact, no bite marks, not shredded, intact. So that is her. I kind of think of her as, remember Kirby? That little from like video games. It's like a pink, I don't know, pink like round shaped character, and he used to like suck in things. Like I feel like that's her because she doesn't chew either. And what else has she eaten? She's eaten part of a remote before, which is really scary. She has eaten your headband before, part of your eye mask, an earbud.
Basically, she eats things that she's not supposed to be eating, which I don't understand because we walk her every morning, we play with her, we walk her in the afternoons. Maybe we're just not enriching her enough.
I think it's the mental stimulation because she is a golden doodle. So from when we had a trainer for a little while, when we first got her as a puppy, they said that you can never outwalk a dog pretty much, especially the higher energy dogs. So even though we do, like you usually take her on like a 3-mile walk every morning, but I think getting used to the same path and smells doesn't enrich her mind as much. So we have been trying to take her on different routes and do mental stimulation games and stuff like that. But still, sometimes it's tricky when you get into your routine and you kind of forget or you don't have that much time. But it seems like she probably does it when she's bored or just curious of how things taste maybe. So yeah, she got into laundry hamper. There were 2 pairs that I suspected she ate. The next day on Thursday, she was able to pass a few, sorry for TMI, and she threw up some of it. So then she was acting normal. She ate. She was able to go to the bathroom just fine. So we thought we were out of the woods on that. And then on Monday, she threw up part of one of the ones that she had thrown up on Thursday. So we're like, okay, weird. I guess that was just the rest of it. Again, she's acting totally normal. I was closely monitoring her to see if we needed to go to the vet. And then on Wednesday, she just all of a sudden was totally fine and then just threw up another one. And that was one of the ones I suspected that she had eaten. And I feel like she has a mystery second stomach because I don't understand how that was in her for a whole week and she was acting normal. And I'm so grateful that she was able to pass it naturally and by herself because one, those things can be life-threatening. So definitely, consult a vet if you're ever in those situations. Our vet just told us, keep monitoring her, see if she acts differently. So I was doing that. And then two, like if you are to have that type of, x-rays, surgery, inducing the vomit, anything like that, that can be obviously very, very expensive. Like I've heard it can be over 10 grand, possibly.
Not that I want to learn. Nothing
And
that I want to learn.
Also, I don't want to put her through any trauma that she doesn't necessarily need, because obviously any of those types of things would be really scary for a dog, and you not being able to communicate with them about what's happening. So I'm glad that we're through the woods, but I just can't believe that. So we've gotten another stronger doorstop that we have on a few other doors with the cat litters. So now she cannot open the door. And we already are pretty good about putting the remote up where she can't get it, not leaving things on counters. She's also pretty tall, being a golden doodle. She's actually stands at about my hip, and then is like my height when she stands fully on her hind legs. So she can get a lot of things on the counters, and you also have to be careful of these guys because they'll knock things off the counters. If you have a cat, you know that they love to
play hockey with
things, and they don't like certain things, certain places. They have a certain feng shui that they like to keep. So that was a fail, but also a win. So thankfully, we are fully past that, hopefully. Hopefully no other mystery ones come up. And then another win for me was I had my dress alterations fitting this week.
Woo! How excited are you with that?
Yeah, really excited. I went by myself. My best friends and my parents don't live here, so I just went by myself, but I was able to FaceTime my cousin who worked in fashion for a long time, so she's my fashionista cousin who I get advice from. And my mom was really nice and surprised me with covering my alterations, which felt really good because she wasn't able to be there in person. And then yesterday I also went to my first baking class, even though I love
back
baking.
Up to your wedding dress. Are you like really excited? Are you not excited? You just brushed over that like there's nothing.
Well, I'm really excited. So my wedding dress is actually the one and only dress that I've ever tried on. I tried on a couple other ones, not that I was actually interested in.
So one and done, and you're like, this is it. I don't want to try anything else on because I don't want to change my mind.
Basically, yeah. So when I found it before we even found our wedding venue.
I have no idea what the wedding dress looks like.
I'm trying to not say anything specific, so it's a surprise for you. But I found I had no idea what would look good on me and what I was even interested in, so I just kind of started looking around. I want to say September, October of last year, just online, seeing what's out there. I came across this wedding designer and looked on their website and was like, oh, that seems like something I always kind of pictured. Looked at where they carried it. It just happened to be 10 minutes from our house in Pasadena, which is crazy. I reached out to them. They were like, yeah, we have the dress in stock, but I didn't want to go look at it until we locked in our venue in case it wouldn't fit the venue. It really depends on where you're going to have it to sometimes decide on the style of the dress that you want. So once we locked that in like November, December, then I reached out again because I was looking at other dress shops. A lot of them have their inventory online. And I was looking at the other dress shops, see what inventory they had. Nothing was interesting me still, and I still had that dress in my head. So I was like, okay, let me reach out again, see if they still have it. They still had it. They only had one left, and it was on sale, and they had an appointment the next day.
Too good to be true.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go try this dress on. If anything, just to get out of my head, it probably won't even look good. So I went by myself again to that, and I told you I was gonna be back in like 20 minutes. Go try it on. I'm like, okay, I like it. And I was like, let me just try on 2 other styles that might look good with my body type just to see if I need to go try on other dresses. Tried those on, was not interested. Thankfully, the dress shop owner was really nice, and she was, she's helping me out, giving me her opinion on things. I didn't have any service there, so I was trying to FaceTime my friends, trying to send them pictures.
Sucks.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make this decision on my own because it's on sale. It's the only dress left and it's discontinued. It's a discontinued style. They're not making more of it. So I stood there in the mirror looking at it and I was like, okay, would I be upset if I left and tried on a bunch of other dresses and then this one sold? And
Usually,
like,
how many
yes.
dresses do you think girls try on before they like land on the one they want?
Great question. I'd probably say more than 5. Probably 10, 15.
How many dresses did you try on for your senior prom?
Well, my mom made my dress for my senior prom, so 0. Just the one again. She was like, "This is what you're wearing." I'm like, "Okay." But
you didn't want your mom to make your wedding dress?
No.
No.
No, and her wedding dress.
I need to turn off this fan back here because I want to make sure it's not causing any background noise. Keep going.
Her wedding dress was a little too retro for me. It had like poofy sleeves and it just wasn't my style. So I definitely wanted my own. But when
Did she offer her hers?
Yeah, a long time ago. But I wasn't.
You didn't want to go retro?
I wasn't that interested. It was a little too 80s style for me. And I know you can alter it, but it just wasn't my style.
You didn't want to thrift it and like.
My mom and I have very different styles, so I think I've always wanted to be my own person ever since I was little. Like she would like something and I would like the opposite. Usually my dad and I would have the same taste, but my mom also thought I was doing that on purpose growing up.
Did your dad wear a Hawaiian shirt to his wedding?
I know. I think he actually wore a suit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like a very 80s looking suit, I think. But
aside from the Magic Castle, have you ever seen your dad in a suit?
Just when we've gone to something really formal, like a friend's wedding or something like that, it's the only other time. I mean, my parents love just to wear t-shirts and shorts. My dad's from Hawaii, and even though they live in Washington State, even in the snow, he wears t-shirt, shorts, slippers, and blasts the AC in the car.
Casual.
You'd never guess. But when I was standing in front of the mirror trying on this wedding dress, I had this pit in my stomach, and it was the same pit in my stomach that I had when we saw our house for the first time. And we didn't get our house right away. That's a whole other story. But I had that same pit that I was like, this is it. So I've been trying to lean into that and listen to my intuition a little bit more. And so I said, with feeling that pit and then also thinking about how much I would be sad if the dress was gone by the time I tried on other dresses, I was like, all right, let's do it. She was like, are you saying yes to the dress? And I'm like, is that crazy? Does anyone do that where they just try on one dress and they get it? And she said, women who know what they want. And I was like, okay, I guess that's me. So yeah, trying it on again felt good, seeing kind of what alterations we're going to make come to life, be mocked up, I guess you could say. Felt really good. So I think it'll be really exciting in a month, which will be only 1 month from our wedding.
Yeah, Monday marks 2 months out.
Yeah, I think that'll be even more exciting because then I'll see it actually fitted. So right now the dress is a larger size, so they had to clip things and it's way longer than I am, so there's a lot of hemming that needs to be done. Story of my life. I'm only 5'3". So I think once I see it actually my size and fitted to me, it'll be really, really
5'3" on a good day. I think you're giving yourself a couple inches there.
I don't know. I was told 5'3" once in my life, and I've stuck to that ever since.
And I'm 6 feet.
And then, so then my other win was I went to my first ever baking class, believe it or not. So I love baking. My mom taught me to bake when I was a kid because she didn't really want to bake anymore. So I started out making box mixes, and then I've grown to just following recipes and perfecting recipes. But I've never taken I've taken cooking classes, but I've never taken a baking class. So my old boss got me a gift certificate last year for my work anniversary, and I finally got around to using it at this bakery nearby our house, and I made a mango vanilla coconut chiffon cake.
which was really good.
Not too sweet,
The
very
frosting
light.
looked really nice.
Yeah, learned how to pipe a little bit.
The mangoes are super good.
The mangoes make it, though. The mangoes make it. And I learned that there's a lot of science that goes into chiffon cake because it's very light and airy, and there's a lot of things you should and should not do, otherwise the cake will collapse. And there's things with piping that you need to do. And so I learned a lot of pro tips. So even though I don't necessarily know how much I think I could make this cake again because it is like a nice, light, refreshing cake. But even if I don't make it, there's a lot of tips that I learned.
Maybe if my post-editing for this podcast is good enough, I'll throw a little clip up or a picture of her finished cake.
I can also put it on our social media, which is not fully. I'm like, wait, what is it?
Not fully qualified.
Not fully qualified. I totally blanked on what it was for a second. Not fully qualified, clearly.
We'll take this time. If you could like and subscribe to our podcast,
yes.
We'd really appreciate it. We should have said that at the beginning of the episode.
Very much appreciate it. Yes. We're still figuring it out. So, what about you? Any wins or fails this week?
Any wins? I would say wins at work. We finished kind of a big project that we do every single year. It's called the Beers of the World Project. It's where we source 9 beers from 9 different breweries across the U.S. or world. And we actually make this specific pack for world market. So we bring in a lot of temporary labor to get it done. This year we built, I think like 15,552 cases, 9 packs. So it took our team just shy of a week, I think. I think we started last week on Tuesday and we wrapped up this week on, we wrapped up this week on Wednesday, so a little bit over a week. But yeah, that went really smooth at work. Sometimes we run into issues with temp labor not showing up, or we don't get basically we have to order the outer carton, and then we have to order the dividers, and then all the beers. So it takes a lot for everything to land, and everything landed smoothly. Yeah. Everything landed on time. Everything landed with good counts.
Great.
So we didn't have to reorder anything or go back to the suppliers to get any more product or more boxes. We had very minimal breakage as well, which was really nice. So that was a successful build.
I don't think you've said what your business is.
It's Alta Warehousing Logistics. If you ever need any third-party logistics providers, hit me up.
They're your guys.
We're your guys.
Family run.
Family owned and operated. We operate in California, North Carolina, Florida, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Indiana.
It could be expanding.
And soon to be Texas.
Woo!
So yeah, if you guys need any warehousing, I'm your guy. But yeah, so work was really good this week. I would say that was a win for work. And then
how do people buy those?
They get shipped out to all the world markets if you have those in your area. So those will start showing up. I think it was mid-September, maybe beginning of September, mid-September. You'll start to see them in stores.
Those sound like good birthday gifts for dad, gifts for brother.
They're fun.
Holiday gifts.
If you're a beer drinker, they're fun.
Yeah.
They literally have like 9 different breweries. So we had a beer from India called Taj Mahal. We had a couple beer from California, Ritual Beer Brewing. We had Sapporo, which is obviously a Japanese beer.
Wide variety, very diverse.
Yeah. What else do we have?
Do you guys pick those, or World Market picks those?
Eric, who's our SVP of General Manager, he's in charge of kind of throwing together the gift packs. We do have a lot of repeats from years prior. And it's always really successful at World Market. Like they always are like, oh yeah, this is such a great seller for us.
Yeah,
it was
really
well.
cool.
So last year we did a little bit more in terms of cases. This year was a little bit less, but they seem to sell out every single year, and it seems to be a really big project for them.
Yeah,
so
very novelty item.
But yeah, at work, that's what happened at work, and then outside of work, suits. But that happened last week. But yeah, we got our suits picked out.
For the wedding.
Yeah, my suits picked out for the wedding, so I'm really excited about that.
The boys.
Me and the boys, we're gonna be looking fly up there.
Yeah.
Was it beige?
Yeah,
Right?
it's a beige suit.
Beige suit, brown shoes, white shirt,
and
then
figuring out the ties.
Figuring out the ties.
Because my ladies are gonna be, I decided to go a little bit non-traditional and not only have them pick their own style for what looks good with their body type, which I feel like is pretty common these days. I am also having them wear 3 different colors that go with our color scheme. So our color scheme is a rustic fall color scheme, kind of like emerald green, sage green, kind of a burnt orange / copper color, and burgundy. And then we have some, creams, dusty pink, and browns as just contrast. So the girls are wearing, one's going to be in burgundy, one's going to be in green, and one's going to be in kind of that burnt orange copper color. And then the guys are going to be in the beige suits. We will have, so on my side, I'm having my brother on my side because he's my brother. So I felt like he should be on my side, as well as I have less people than you, which felt a little weird because I think, tradition always says you should be even. But to me, that felt kind of unrealistic. I didn't want to force it to be even and have it be less meaningful to the people I did really want to ask, as well as, I think I'm okay with that, with it being uneven. So yeah. I also have waffles on my side.
I have 2 brothers, so obviously they need to be included in my party. Mm-hmm. And then I have another set of brothers who are my 3, they're family friends of mine, best friends.
Yeah, grown up.
I've known them in my entire life. I was in their weddings as well, so I felt like they needed to be there with me, and mm-hmm. I wanted them to be there with me. And then I have 2 other friends of mine that I was like, I need to have them.
Yeah, and even that, you have so many friends. You grew up here.
Yeah.
So you have so many friends from, elementary school or even just high school growing up that you're still close with. So it was even hard to narrow it down. So you have 7 on your side.
Yeah, it was really hard.
I have 5 on my side, including Waffles, our dog. So yeah, I think at this point, people have said, do you want them, seated and with you guys just standing so that when you take pictures, you won't notice that it's uneven numbers? But I'm okay with it. I think I've gotten past it being
definitely
uneven.
Standing with us. You need everyone up there.
You need your besties by your side, as you said, as you're going into battle.
Yeah, I'm going into battle. I need my boys up there with me to support me as I'm going through. Your back. As I'm crossing over the line of being a single man into a married man.
Yeah.
I might have to jump shit at the last moment, and then one of them needs to
I'm gonna stick Waffles after you.
So I need them up there, but that's how it is. We'll see. We're gonna, I think during the rehearsal, we'll kind of set it up and see how it looks. And if it looks too awkward, then
we'll make some final decisions. But at least in my head, that's
ultimately
that's how
I think everyone should be up there.
Yeah. And I think more important even than just a photo op is the significance of that moment for us. Another win this week was we went to Pickleball yesterday. So we only usually play on the weekends, usually once or twice on the weekends. And we're new at Pickleball. I'm very new. I say that I'm still learning hand-eye coordination because I don't really play sports growing up. I did swimming, I did cheerleading, and I've done yoga for almost 15, 20 years. So I have good balance and flexibility, but I don't necessarily
if anyone is watching that plays pickleball, drop your player rating in the comments. We'll see what you rank.
Yeah.
My player ranking is 1.0.
Does it start at 1 or
I think
it starts
at
0? Because I'm I'm 0 and it's not even a ranking.
We're very beginners.
I don't even know what the rankings are.
We bought a beginner set off Amazon that came with 4 paddles and I think 4 balls or something for $35. Mm-hmm. So our paddle cost is about $5 a paddle. And we're playing against people that have $200 paddles and whatnot.
Yes, and who play every day and and
also have a thing against orange balls.
Yes, they have a random thing about using orange balls. They only like to use the yellow ones, even though they're the same brand.
Yeah, so if you play pickleball in your area, do you only play with yellow, or is your team or your people okay with switching it up? Because
switching
here,
colors. Here
at the Pasadena courts,
they say, can we play with our ball? And it's yellow ball, and just because it's yellow. Same brand, everything. But yeah, learning a lot. It's been really nice. People have told me I've been improving. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm improving, but I've been improving every week is what people have said. And yesterday we met some really cool people playing pickleball. There's a girl who had just started. She's already probably better than me. But I said, I'm down to practice anytime you want. So we might practice. She's also into lifting weights and yoga, which we have in common. So it was nice to meet a friend.
Yeah, this is the first time I think we met some friends, I would say, quote unquote.
Yeah, most of the people we play with tend to be older than us.
Right.
And sometimes quite a bit older than us and way better
really
than us. Way better than us.
Yesterday we got smoked by this older
smoked.
couple that literally, I think they won 11.
They were like in their 70s.
I think the final score was like 11-4 or something like that.
Which is nice. You didn't get pickled, which pickled apparently means when you get 0 points, which I've gotten many times, many games. But you didn't get pickled at least. But it was a very quick game. I had a conversation with her, and then I turned, and the game was already done.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
What else this week? So our usual routine is we tend to get up at 4:30 a.m., which people think is absolutely insane, and I did think was absolutely insane a couple years ago.
But you're able to get so much, especially on the weekends. Like today we slept in until 5:30, and it's already like 10 a.m. and like we're barely getting our day going.
Yeah, the day flies by. You do get more hours. When I start my day, so usually take waffles on a walk for about 3 miles every morning, get your steps in before you go to work, since sometimes you're trapped at a desk. I meditate and I journal every day as a practice. And on my self-development journey, I've heard a lot of successful people I admire, talk about how they do that, start the day every morning, and my self-development coach preaches that as well. So I try to stick to that routine. On the weekends, I get a little lax, but I try to stick to that routine, get in the right headspace, set the day right. And then I go to yoga or go work out at the gym after you get back, and then you head to work, and that's usually like our Monday through Friday routine. So this week, actually...
So did you get up early every day this week? Drum roll?
I think there was one day I didn't. I can't remember which day, but I think there was one day that I was like, I can't.
I think I almost, except for today.
Monday. Usually it's Mondays, but I don't...
I think today was the only day we didn't sleep in, or we didn't wake up at 4:30.
Yeah. For the most part, I think there might have been one day I slept in longer than you.
Yesterday.
What are you talking about?
You already forgot yesterday.
There might have been an additional day then. And then I'm working on getting my yoga teacher certification. And
shout out YTT.
Yeah, YTT, yoga teacher training. So I'm on a self-guided program and not doing it at a studio in person. And that was more because it was a much more affordable price. And so last I've been on this anatomy section of learning about the respiratory system and all the muscles that are involved.
You gotta say like how stupid it is, the progress bar, and how it barely inches by, because that is the most frustrating.
So they have it split up into different sections, and whenever you complete a section, in my mind, it should be at least 1%. So, but sometimes the sections are way longer. So this section about the respiratory system, it had 90 minutes worth of video, and then it has the scripts. And the way that I learn is that I have to watch the video and then I need to write down everything, because that's the best way to get it into my brain, because just listening for me doesn't retain everything. So it took me a couple weeks to finish this, especially with everything that was going on with waffles. And I finally completed the section. Say it took me 4 days or something, like 4 full days working on it. And it only went up 1%. And other sections, it'll be a 5-minute video and just the little script, and that'll be 1%. And so it's never the same. I thought it was going to be, okay, this section has to be 5%, because it was the biggest section that I've tackled so far yet. and it went up 1%, which is kind of just crushes your your feeling of accomplishment, because you feel like
that would be the worst.
Like my wrist was hurting from writing so much. It's interesting, but also I'm not the best at learning anatomy, so it's like kind of interesting but also kind of boring at the same time, if I'm being honest. And so I felt really accomplished finally getting through that, and then just to see it only go up 1% was a little disheartening. But this week I'm learning about other things. I'm starting to learn about like breath work is I think the next section.
What's been the most interesting section so far that you've covered?
So I have found the yoga history and philosophy really interesting. I've never delved into that myself, and I haven't.
I feel like that would have been the most boring.
It sounds really boring, but it is kind of fascinating because a lot of the different points, there's different books about yoga from hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and some of the things that they talk about are like some of the spiritual side of what it talks about actually ties into self-development a lot as well. So it's kind of interesting to see those parallels. And then I've been practicing yoga for a long time, but it's still interesting to learn about the poses, the asanas, and learn that either I've been doing some of them wrong, or maybe they have a different way of doing it. Maybe a more technical way than some of the classes that I've taken here. So sometimes I've realized, I actually haven't been doing this pose right, and I've been doing it for a really long time. So now I'm a little bit more mindful of different things.
But I think we've been doing cat-cow wrong the entire time.
What do you mean?
Because I watched some YouTube video on it, and the person was like doing all fours, and they're being really exaggerated like this. And he's like, you're actually doing that wrong. You're only supposed to be like a really subtle movement like in your lower back. Like you're not supposed to like really arch over and like do like this, because it's more so to like strengthen your lower back muscles, not your like huge arch like this. I don't know, I'll try to find the YouTube video, I'll show you. But
maybe that's a different way he's doing it, because in my yoga practices you do it more as a stretch to get your back warmed up, for your back and your core warmed up. So you actually do want to push apart your shoulder blades when you're doing certain things.
Okay, maybe it's a different version.
Yeah, so maybe it's just if it has a different purpose, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so learning that I've been doing some of the poses incorrectly, and learning about some new poses has been really interesting, especially because, when you go to the same class, especially if you have the same teacher, like sometimes it can be you're only learning one way of doing it, and it may or may not be the correct way, or there's different ways of doing things. So it's cool to even just deepen my practice with learning more about yoga, since I've never really done a deep dive myself, but I've just taken a lot of yoga classes.
Right. Feel like you have a better perspective of everything now?
I do, and I practiced teaching my first yoga class on my cousin when she was here a week and a half ago, and it was so much harder than just doing yoga. It is, which I've heard said, people say that, like teaching is so much different than practicing, and it is, because you have to be able to clearly instruct someone on what to do with their body and how to do it safely, versus I know how to do it, even muscle memory. I know how to do poses, and I know the names of poses. So as soon as a teacher says the name of a pose, I already know how to get into it. Versus, especially my cousin, who is a beginner, trying to explain to her how to do it properly, I realized I need a lot more practice doing that. So that's why I need to record myself practicing, just to even get that down of is this instruction clear enough for a student to take, and then I just need to start practicing on people like you.
I also think you need to start like maybe posting little 30-second, 60-second videos, form checks on your Instagrams to try to drive traffic.
True.
Yeah. And that's going to get you good at talking about what you're doing and explaining how to do something properly.
100%. I think that kind of ties into how I felt about posting our first episode of our podcast.
And we got all good reactions.
We did. I just want to admit that, so you posted our podcast on Wednesday, and then I was able to get it up on Spotify on Thursday. Haven't figured out Apple quite yet. and I got our Instagram going Thursday or Friday because we have a not fully qualified Instagram account. I didn't post anything on my personal accounts though, because the fear of being seen and heard is real, and the prickles of perfectionism still get to me. So I finally just sucked it up after a little bit of encouragement from some of my friends in my coaching group and you, and I just posted it on my personal account stories yesterday, and it definitely felt like I was going to throw up. But everyone who direct messaged me or hearted it on my story was super supportive and encouraging, and like, can't wait to listen, or I already started listening, and so
because of you posting that, we've gotten 6 subscribers.
Hey.
And 56 views. Now, people didn't necessarily stick around to watch the whole thing, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
We got 4+ subscribers from that post, and we got 54 views, and they stayed around for about 2 minutes.
That's great.
So
attention retention is hard, but
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So shout out to all of our friends and family and any new listeners in general. We appreciate the love and the support, because it can be scary to put yourself out there.
I agree. You're doing it.
So yeah. So I feel really good. I feel encouraged by everything to keep going.
Well, did you hit all your workouts this week, or did you miss any? Or how'd you do?
I hit all my workouts. So you have a 3 workout program that you're on.
Yeah, mine's a 3-day schedule.
I still work out 5 times a week. I usually do cardio because I just can't get into it on Mondays. So I usually do cardio on Mondays. And then I typically go to yoga Tuesday, Thursdays. I ran out of credits this week, so I was only able to go on Tuesday. And then I just do strength training at the gym the rest of the days. So I was feeling really good because I did a leg workout and then a pretty heavy arm workout. And then I think I overdid it though, doing my squats, because I haven't done squats for a while. I don't consistently do stuff. I kind of switch it up a lot. I probably need to get back on following like a regimented program.
I think we need to get you back to lifting more than 2 days a week.
Probably. But I'm not going to sacrifice my yoga days either. So but I will say I have seen a direct impact from strength training on my yoga. There's things like chaturanga, which is the kind of tricep push-up that you're in the vinyasa flow, that used to be a struggle for me to be able to do. And now it's like, I can do a million of them because of the strength training that I've done. So I do see a direct influence on that. And just, the flexibility and the balance that I get from yoga also helps me with my strength training. So I see, I like doing both because I see a benefit of both. But I overdid it with the squats. I felt really good. I was able to do weight that I've done before. And then the last 2 days I've been barely able to walk. I could only play 2 pickleball games yesterday because my legs were so sore. So I overdid it a little bit, but yeah, I hit all my workouts this week. What about you?
Yeah, I did. I hit all 3 days, and then I got my walks in the morning with waffles every single day. The only thing I miss is stretching on Friday and Saturday, which I need to get better on the weekends. I'm really good about my stretching during the week, but it kind of falls off on the weekends.
I know our routine's a little bit different on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I don't usually do like my meditation, my journaling on the weekends either. But yeah, you've been doing a really good job being consistent at stretching. You've been trying to do that since the beginning of the year, I think.
I'm getting there, but it's still really hard. It's really hard.
Because for
it's
me,
unmotivating actually.
For me, I used to go to yoga 5 to 7 times a week, and I would actually really feel it in my wrists. So I had to cut back on that. But when I first met you, yoga and sometimes going for a jog outside or doing cardio outside were my main workouts. I never really had a gym membership. And then after meeting you, and especially once COVID hit and things like that, we lucked out because one of your neighbors, who was our friend, had a storage unit.
Oh yeah, with the home gym in there?
With the home gym. So we were able to do that during COVID, which was great. And that's kind of actually where I first started learning strength training from you. And then when the gyms reopened, we would go together and you would teach me And then you, on the flip side, have never really been into stretching or doing any type of mobility type of exercise routine.
Ain't nobody have time for that.
But now you're starting to feel the difference.
Yeah.
In doing that. And I think in the long run, especially as you know, we hear this from people who are older than us, that will pay off doing it starting it now.
We'll see.
I
haven't
so.
seen any payoffs yet.
No, I've seen some difference in you. You used to only...
It's really hard to keep going.
For the forward fold, you used to like be only able to touch your knees, which I was shocked.
It's really hard to keep going.
But now you can touch your toes.
Yeah, but it's still just so far away from being flexible.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to stay motivated.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, because it's incremental gains.
We'll see if I continue.
You will. I'll make sure of it. Got to keep you mobile.
So are we liking Reacher or are we not liking Reacher?
Reacher on Prime. This is the second season, I think.
Third
Season. I'm enjoying it. I mean, some of it's a little, I don't want to give any spoilers, but basically he's kind of like running around this house and sneaking in, sneaking out, and supposedly it has really tight security, and then somehow there's no cameras. So some of those things a little bit, you're kind of
it's
like...
It's like the Amazon Prime, or the Prime issue. You know like when you ever talk about that when you're watching movies from Amazon Prime, that's always just like every single Amazon Prime movie or show always has to like...
A little bit of... They kind of brush over something that seems like it'd be not as believable. Like kind of Yeah, like they could have just shown him, I don't know, spraying out the camera or doing something with the camera. I don't know. So things like small details like that, but you do they're kind of noticeable, I would say, in terms of the storyline, tend to happen on Prime. But I'm still enjoying it. It's still an entertaining show.
Aside from that, have you listened to any good festival shows yet from like Tomorrowland or any of those?
Yeah, so I'm still working my way through Tomorrowland, which I'm so grateful that they posted a lot of sets. I think
they posted every single set. Like if you go to Tomorrowland's YouTube page, there's literally like every single artist.
I've just been listening to set, and then I see in the sidebar, related ones, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. So I finished both of Hardwell's sets from weekend 1, weekend 2.
Oh yeah,
Loved
we're seeing
it.
Hardwell end of September.
Can't wait. He's just such high energy, so fun. Spaceman. So I really enjoyed that. Obviously, we love Armin van Buuren. I don't know if we've mentioned him before, but huge fan. We've been a fan of him for a long time. He's one of my favorite DJs. He just kills it every single set. He's amazing. He also randomly got super in shape recently, which is crazy.
Him and his wife.
Yeah, him and his wife. So goals. And we actually...
Were they on the cover of some magazine or something?
Men's Fitness, I think.
Fitness?
Yeah. He got in just crazy shape. And
he's in his like 50s, isn't he?
Yeah. He said he's in the best shape of his life, and he looks great on stage.
Fact check that.
And we actually met him about a year ago when we went to Europe last summer. We went to Amsterdam to visit one of my friends, and we were able to get on his radio show, A State of Trance, which was amazing. Got to be there for the whole... And
he's 48.
48, wow. Yeah, goals. I mean, I would love to look like him and his wife
ripped.
when I'm 48. And what's awesome about him is he's incredibly talented still to this day. I mean, he's been in the game for so long, and he's still making incredible music and headlining, and it's inspiring to see someone at the top of their game still after all these years, and just, if anything, getting even better, like getting healthier, getting better in his life and in his music. And he was genuinely really, really nice as well, and like took pictures with us. We literally got to stand next to him. I mean, and then he was
starstruck.
Surprisingly taller than I expected too, him and Ruben.
Yeah, definitely starstruck.
Definitely starstruck. Yeah, it was nice because we were there with only 5, 6 other people in the studio.
Yeah, it was max 10 people, but I don't think it was even 10.
We'll have to look up what episode it was, but we're literally posted
like
up
11,
right next to him.
I think it was like 11:52 or something like that.
Got to see his mug, which had his family on it. Got to see what he was doing on all of his screens, and just, yeah, he just seems like an awesome human being. So love him even more. Love to see him succeed.
So aside from Armin, are there any other standouts that you had, or?
So those are the ones that I've finished so far, but those have all been great. Highly recommend. Those have been fun to work out too.
John Summit's is really good.
Yeah, I've already. Yeah,
Morton's is really good.
Yep. John Summit's was great.
Alesso
Swedish House
good.
Mafia. All the usual suspects always have really great sets. Yeah. So, and it was cool to see. I don't know if everyone heard about this, but the main stage burned down a few days before.
Like 2 days before they kicked off weekend one.
And, so much work, like years of work goes into that. So many artists, so many, engineers, everybody did so much work on that. So it was like heartbreaking, but then to see them still be able to pull it off and make the most of it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you? Any other sets that you've listened to that you really enjoyed?
I just named the ones that I listened to, but nothing. I need to still go through.
Yeah, there's still more.
There's still more to go through. I feel like it's never ending. I mean, it's 2 weekends of 3-day festivals, so it's a ton.
And we went to Tomorrowland last year. That was the one and only time that we've been. And
Tomorrowland 2024.
Yes. What would you say was your experience going to that?
Amazing, but not as good as EDC.
Yeah, Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas.
Just the atmosphere it's different because EDC is like a rave and Tomorrowland's not really a rave. Mm-hmm. So you don't really get that festival. Like rave culture, which I kind of like.
Right.
People are really nice at Tomorrowland.
And it's cool because they're from really, really all over the world.
Yeah, you get a melting pot.
I felt like it was a little bit harder to meet people in a sense just because there's so many different languages being spoken and it was hard to tell if people spoke English or not. And, especially it already is kind of hard to meet people at festivals sometimes because people are with their groups of friends, but it just felt almost a little bit harder with that language barrier too. And it was so humid. I was not expecting it to be so humid. I've been to Ultra Music Festival a long time ago in Miami. And being from California and Washington State, you are not used to humidity. So whenever you go to some place that's humid, it's just killer. So was not expecting that. It was very, very humid. The first day that we went last year, we wanted to go right at the opening because it was our first time being there. We want to make the most of it. We want to see everything. And it's cool. I mean, the production is great. I feel like EDC has taken some of
EDC's production level's higher.
Yeah, but I think they took inspiration from Tomorrowland because Tomorrowland was doing cooler things in terms of the stage and stuff before EDC, and then EDC really upped its game. And now at this point, I think EDC has more money, so they do it even bigger. So Tomorrowland was still cool, but now EDC is even more impressive, I would say. And there's more things at EDC. Like, I haven't really gone on any of the rides, but there's rides and there's different attractions other than just the stages. And now there's also so many stages at EDC, it's almost overwhelming. But there's even more stages. And Tomorrowland's it's big, but it's still a little bit of a smaller scale. And yeah, I think I like the culture at EDC more. I mean, it's tough now to go to EDC because EDC is overnight, and now we're used to going to bed at 8 p.m. and waking up at 4:30, and some of your favorite headliners don't even come on till 3 a.m. at EDC. So in terms, when I was 21, that was no problem, but now being in my 30s,
I can't make that.
It's harder for sure, but just in terms of what my experiences have been, I do like EDC. But Tomorrowland, it was still a great thing to, finally check off the bucket list. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen, and it was fun being able to do it with you. And we met some really cool people from Norway who we still keep in touch with. They just went this year, so it was a fun experience still. And it also was challenging to get tickets because supposedly they limit people from America or people from the U.S.
That's just what they say.
That's what they say. That's the rumors on Reddit and things like that. So we were just grateful that we got got tickets last year and were able to make it work, but it was quite humid. My favorite day last year was the closing, and that's when we had made our friends from Norway, and we were at main stage. And one of my biggest things was I'm a huge Avicii fan, R.I.P. Avicii, one of the greats, and I just really wanted to hear an Avicii song live on a main stage again. And I not only got that, but I got multiple songs of his, and so I was so happy.
In your element.
In my element. Oh, that's another good set I listened to was Nicky Romero from Tomorrowland. I love him because he also does a lot of throwbacks from kind of the 2010 to 2015 era, the golden age of EDM. That was when I first started really going to concerts and stuff like that too. So all those songs are very nostalgic for me. And he also, because I think he was really close with Avicii, and he had at least one or two songs with Avicii. So he plays a lot of Avicii too, just on the regular in his sets. And so I just love listening to his music
I agree.
Brings me back, kind of like that Alesso feel, and all of those guys who were my first headliners when I went to all the feels. Okay, so what is next for us in terms of wedding planning?
Just get into the show.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch. We're kind of nearing that 60-day countdown. We're finalizing the wedding party's attire. We are just doing some small details. I think in September we'll have a timeline call with our wedding planner. We'll have a few details calls with our photographer, videographer, our DJ, things like that. So it's starting to feel more real. I think we're past.
You mean it hasn't felt this real this entire time?
I mean, it's slowly getting there.
Rude.
Slowly getting there.
Rude.
Different milestones make it feel more real. At the beginning of the year, after we booked our venue, and even the venue took a long time for us to find, we saw one place, weren't a fan, and then we went and saw a few other locations, and I think we settled on not wanting it to be in Los Angeles because my side is from out of state. My cousins, I have cousins abroad, I have cousins in Hawaii, my parents are up in Washington State, my brother's in Arizona, so for my side, it would be a destination if we had it here. And for your side, a lot of your side's here. So to me, it just felt a little bit lopsided that my side would probably make a weekend out of it, and your side, it would just be a day thing. So when we went to a friend's wedding last year up in Oregon, and everyone was from out of town, I really liked that feel that everyone was hanging out together. It felt more like everyone coming together from both sides. So I kind of wanted it to be a little bit of a destination feel, but at the same time, we didn't want it to be too inconvenient for us. So we wanted to keep it in SoCal. And then when we found our venue in San Diego, we loved it. It has a view of the ocean. It's not too far for us, not inconvenient, and I mean, who doesn't love San Diego? Everybody loves San Diego.
So let's pray for good weather.
Yes, hoping for the sweet spot. It's mid-October, so we're hoping that it's not too hot. I really do not want to be sweating in my wedding dress, and hoping that it's not raining since our wedding is mostly outdoors, so hoping for the best weather possible. And then at the beginning of the year, I was in the thick of it because that's when I was trying to book all the vendors, and there's so much research that goes into that, and trying to figure out a budget, and everything is a million times more expensive than you think it should be, and
the price just keeps going up.
Yeah, they're not joking. When you say the word wedding, I mean, it goes 2x, 5x, 10x up. And so it's challenging. It was challenging to navigate, trying to find the best vendors at the most affordable price who are going to be reliable, going to show up, have a similar vision as what you have for your wedding. And also, sometimes it can be uncomfortable being really saying what you want in a very strong way. And I think that you really have to do that. You can't have any people-pleasing tendencies when it comes to wedding planning. So it can be a little challenging to speak up, and especially when a professional tells you they think one thing and you're like, okay, that's nice, but I still want to do it this way. Right. So learning to do that, navigating that, negotiating things. I've never really negotiated contracts. I mean, even looking at a contract can be intimidating sometimes. So learning what you can ask for, what what's a little too far to ask for. So that was probably the biggest heavy lifting, I'd say, of the wedding planning for me, was booking all the vendors. And they're like, that's a popular date, so you need to hurry up and book before all the good people get booked. And it just felt like it was pressure to do everything all at once and get it done as quickly as possible.
But you did it.
But I did it. And then it's been kind of the fun part of...
Do you think your vision is going to come to life? Like everything you thought in your head is how it's going to look in person?
I hope so.
Are you scared that some things might not look how you want?
In another life, I was a corporate event planner for 5 years in hotels. So I don't know the wedding planning space very well, but I know event planning in general. And I know one of the top things as an event planner that you have to just be mentally prepared and do your best to prepare your clients for is that nothing goes according to plan. I mean, there's going to be at least one thing that doesn't go according to plan. And you just have to embrace it and pivot. And honestly, at the end of the day, the small details don't really matter. So if a sign doesn't look exactly how I wanted it to look, or if somebody's not sticking to the timeline totally. I mean, it's more just about the overall feeling of the day and what it means to us. And you just can't get hung up on that. So more mentally preparing that something will go wrong and that we just have to be ready for it and that it's going to be okay.
Do you think we've disagreed on things?
There's been like a few small things that we've disagreed on, and the budget is hard to navigate because you want it to be special, you want it to look how you've envisioned it to look, but then you also don't want to spend your retirement savings.
Yeah, because when it comes down to the brass tacks of things, it's one night that we're celebrating here. And I know you want to make it special, and I want to make it special, but then it's like, do we really need to spend $3,000 on different color napkins?
Right. Right. Which I've never asked for.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, which sucks because sometimes, you look at stuff and you're like, oh, I really like that. And then you see the cost and you say, oh, never mind. Why is the cost for napkins? Yeah, because the first napkin that we saw, it was really scratchy. I wasn't a huge fan of it. But then the one that I wanted was a lot more. And then I calculated it out and it was like, okay, you spend a couple $100 on these napkins or you spend $1,000 on these napkins. And it's like, napkins? Are you kidding me? So, I mean, luckily our florist who we're working with, who is also doing some of our rentals, which is why I picked her, she found a better napkin for the same price, but at least that's better than the original first napkin that and feels better and isn't as cheap looking. So yeah, just navigating some of those things because I just had it's like I knew, being in the event space, I knew that weddings were more than you think they are, but they're even more than that. They're even more than that, which is crazy. Because again, part of me is like, it's one day, it doesn't matter, but then the other part of me still wants the whole experience to come together.
Right.
And feel and look how I want it to. So sometimes it's hard to balance that.
And with weddings being super traditional, do you think we're keeping anything traditional, or do you think we're tossing anything out, or how do you think we align with other weddings?
I think we're traditional-ish. I think we like some of the bones of tradition. So I like the aisle walk. I have curated specific playlists to create the vibe that I want.
We basically have hired a DJ, but Sarah is literally going to give the DJ everything that she wants. From like, okay, you're playing this here and only this here. You're playing this here and this here. So we're paying a lot of money for this DJ when we can literally just plug in an iPad and press play.
Well, okay. So here's the thing about DJs is that they're they're not just all about the music, which is what one DJ said to me. They also have to be the run of show, your MC, unless you have a separate MC. And so they have to be able to know how to stick to a timeline, know how to keep the flow. Obviously, if things run over in a way that they can't control, they have to just go with it too. But if they're in charge of kind of keeping the flow,
Right.
like cocktail reception ends, they need to get everyone up to the dinner space. They need to be the ones who are facilitating that, along with the wedding planner and staff people. But they keep the flow going. You want, like, I had several calls with DJs, and it wasn't just about listening to some of their sample playlists of what they're playing, because again, I knew that I was going to be pretty specific on things. So I'm like, you can just press play. I'm not really concerned
What
about that.
What if the DJ doesn't play a single song that you...
He's getting his ox pulled. He's getting his ox pulled. But no, I have confidence in him. His company was referred by our wedding planner. That was one of the things, because I wanted someone reliable who knows how to play weddings. The tricky thing is, like, we have some friends who DJ, but if they've also never DJ'd a wedding, I think that's a totally different gig. Because again, they have to be on the mic. They have to know how to introduce people, say names, know timing. It's not just about the music. And again, I wanted our friends to be able to enjoy the party too. But yeah, you also want someone who has like a good MC presence and who you kind of vibe with, and that they'll listen to what you want. And it's not, because it's not about them, it's about your wedding. So I do have specific playlists curated for the vibes that I want of different times of the wedding. And so that was one of the important things to me, was how do you feel about playing really specific music that I want? Because again, I'm hiring you, and so this was another example of me having to step into saying what I want and not feeling bad that I'm not giving them a lot of creative freedom, because this is what I want and this is what I've envisioned, and I've spent a lot of time also curating this playlist for how I want it to feel.
I'm sure it's going to be magical.
I hope so. But so going back to the first question of being traditional-ish, so I think, having the wedding party is traditional, but then we've kind of switched it up a little bit with me having my brother, with us having an uneven amount, a little bit with us having waffles. She's going to be in our ceremony, hopefully not act too crazy. And then I think we're having our friend officiate. So he was your roommate. I moved in with you guys for a little bit before we found our own place. And that, isn't necessarily groundbreaking, but it is a little bit different from what other people do.
Totally.
I think it's a newer trend for the last however many years that people have been doing, but to us, that feels more personal. I would say I'm spiritual. I'm not super religious, so I didn't want just a random religious figure doing this for us. I wanted someone who really knows us, has seen our relationship grow, and be able to speak into that. And we just had him over a couple weeks ago, and I was very pleasantly surprised at how prepared he was. He had thoughtful questions. He interviewed us together and separately to come up with some more content for his speech, and so I felt like he was really listening to how we want it to feel and was putting a lot of effort into it, which felt special.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that'll be more meaningful. And then we're doing the traditional things of having a first dance, having a dance with my dad. You're going to have a dance with your mom. We are not going to do the garter toss or the bouquet toss. Garter toss has always made me feel really awkward, so I didn't really want to do that. And then the bouquet toss, I feel a little mixed about that. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it makes your single friends feel a little singled out. And so I kind of was thinking more, I might actually have part of my bouquet preserved in some way and into some kind of artwork or something like that. Which it would feel bad. Sometimes they make them into...
So just a dead flower on our wall?
No, they dry it. They dry it.
A dead flower on our wall.
It's dried. But I don't know. I've seen ones that
It can go in your office.
Okay, yeah. I've seen, and I think my bouquet is going to be really pretty because I've seen kind of a sample of the flowers.
Good. I hope it is.
Like it. So I don't know. Just those were thoughts, but Or like my mom suggested that I give it to my brother's fiance, and I'm like, what is she gonna do with the bouquet? Like, what is she gonna do with the whole bouquet just the rest of the wedding? So
here you go.
this is yours now.
This is yours. Hold on.
Make sure you don't lose it, because I'll be very insulted. So yeah, I felt like that was the best.
That's funny.
Alternative was maybe just I keep it and preserve it or something like that, or whatever. Nothing happens. I really wanted to donate the flowers of our wedding. What they don't tell you is that you have to pay extra for that. So we're still thinking about that, but
we're not thinking about that.
It's a nice gesture because they donate it to hospitals.
We're not thinking about that anymore.
They do charge you more to have to prepare it.
We're not thinking about that anymore. That's not going to happen.
That's the only things that suck.
It's going in the trash, or it's going home with guests.
Yeah, you think that these things are just a nice gesture so that they wouldn't cost extra, but they do. I think that. What else are we're having speeches, so that's, pretty traditional. We're going to have, so you have 2 best men, I have 2 maids of honor. They'll do speeches, our parents will do speeches. You have one other friend who'll do a speech, and then we're having the rest of our wedding party give speeches actually at the rehearsal dinner so that there's not too many speeches, because that already feels like a good amount. So you don't want the speeches to drown on for too long. And then we're having a dance party, probably a little bit untraditional as well, as just how much EDM is going to be played at our wedding. And not in its natural state necessarily. Like I have a lot of acoustic covers of EDM songs that I want played. So, but I feel like that's maybe a little bit not as traditional, but feels very us.
And lastly, do you think starting this podcast was more stressful than wedding planning?
Ooh, that's a good question. So if you would have asked me probably January through March, I would have said no. But I will say it did take us 3 tries to record our first episode. We had some technical issues. The mics weren't working at one point. You ran out of storage during one of the recordings and only recorded half. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I had like a perfectionist meltdown during one of our recordings, and then just posting it, and again, just putting it out there and being vulnerable, because that's always a scary thing. Even when you feel excited about something, it's still scary to put it out there.
I agree.
So I would say in that way, it's been more challenging from maybe a deeper level. Work-wise, it hasn't been as much work as wedding planning has been, but just from being more vulnerable, I feel like it was more challenging. What about you?
No, posting the podcast was stressful because I was the one that was having to edit everything the first one and had to figure it out.
The first time we tried to do multiple camera angles, that was a little too much.
Yeah, it was the editing program. It was able to figure it out, but since I was using a standard version of CapCut, I couldn't export in the format that it was in, so that royally screwed us over after I edited like 3 hours worth of footage. Yeah. So I would say for me, the podcast has been more stressful than the wedding planning.
Yes. Because how much wedding planning have you done?
A lot. You ask me a lot of important questions and I say yes or no.
I do. That's true.
But with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here because I think we've been going on for...
sorry, we've already talked your ear off.
An hour or something. So if you've enjoyed your listening to Not Fully Qualified podcast, we'd love if you'd support the channel by dropping a comment, subscribing to the channel, and liking the video and sharing it with your friends.
Yep, we're also on Spotify at Not Fully Qualified, and same with Instagram, Not Fully Qualified. And if you have any ideas for what you want us to tackle next, any suggestions, any funny stories that you want to share and have us read out loud, feel free to also email us at notfullyqualified@gmail.com.
We'll catch you on the next one.